Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. Okay, so this morning I turn on my YouTube feed and I see a white guy with a red beard, and his channel, a very small channel relative to Austin's. And he came up on my feed talking about something I forget, but it had something to do with travel. And he's a self-proclaimed average white guy, and I look, and on Austin's community tab, he says, "We have to stop this guy." And I'm thinking, like, why do you want to stop anybody? That's the definition of, C blocking. And then I looked at the title of the white dude's video, and he's like, maximizing your white advantage, in Latin America or some crap like that. Right. And I'm like, oh, that's why Austin wants to stop him. Why? I mean, it still doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't he do that? I recommend any guy maximize any advantage that they have in the dating, mating, relating market, because women are going to maximize their advantages over you. You give them one small advantage, like, I don't know, a nice job or something like that. She will try to maximize that advantage over you. So don't play that game with you. If women like white guys, if women in Latin America like white guys and they prefer that, then maximize that advantage. There's really no need to stop him. But then I noticed something else, and this is something I noticed like 5 minutes before I started recording here. Is that's the same white dude that's on the thumbnail picture of yesterday's video, and I'm gonna use it as today's video too. But I was like, that's the same white guy. And I'm like, okay, so obviously, Austin knows this guy. They had these conversations in the past. They probably even had some competition, and the white guy just obliterated Austin. And the white guy is an average white guy, self proclaimed. And Austin proclaims himself to be an exceptional man, of any race. So, yeah. And apparently, there's a hurt ego from the enormous L that was taken by Austin, that he wants to share. He wants every black man to hold this L with him. That way it's not so heavy. Um, I really don't care, Austin. And you could take that any way you like. I didn't, because first of all, I knew this before. You talk about the white guys having the advantage, the edge, or whatnot. I knew this before the before you brought it up. So it's really not news to me. I don't know. I don't even know why it's news to you. But secondly, hit the like button, people. Secondly, I don't look at the next man's plate. I don't do that. And anybody who's like that, anybody who looks at the next man's plate and complains that his plate is, his plate, he got more blueberries in his blueberry muffin than you do. He's the same person that will, if you have less blueberries in your blueberry muffin, he's the same person that will lord it over you if he feels he could do so without repercussion. Meaning that he's the type of person that would hang out with a dude isn't who he knows isn't going to do as well with the ladies. And when they don't do as well, he will bring that up and he will weaponize that. And he's worried that this white dude might weaponize something against him. It's weird. It's weird. I tend to keep a subtle distance away from people like that, because everybody is going to have a slight difference, and anybody who's just going to try to weaponize anything, like a person 1 year makes, I don't know, $100,000, and another person makes $100,000.85. That person is going to lord it over you, especially if you're the type of person be like, oh man, he made that extra 85 cents because he's white, or some. Yeah, it's best to do that. Listen, you know, here's what it comes down to. ethnic reputation white guys has the best as far as what these women are looking for. And I said it in my last video. How important is being a handsome black man to a woman who lives in a country full of handsome black men? How important is that? You are literally flying sand to the beach. The advantage that an American man has over a local woman is, or a local man, excuse me, because you brother's homie. So you got to give her, who looks just like you or better. So you got to give her a reason to be in that bed with you, not him. That advantage is the fact that you are relatively rich. Most of you who are traveling, most of us who are traveling, relatively speaking, is rich by their definition. Now, the thing about the reputation of black man, and this is not completely a stereotype. There is definitely a lot of truth in this. Is that we have a very strange relationship with money and sex. And we feel that any sex that's received is invalidated if there is a monetary exchange. White guys do not feel that way at all. We are also far less likely to commit to a woman. We're far less likely to commit to a woman. So now look at it from her point of view. You have the average white guy, but she has like 3 friends that are married to average white guys who never have to work a day in their life. And she has 8 other friends who's been pumped and dumped by handsome black dudes. Still living in an apartment with no stove. Who is she gonna pick? So that's just common sense. I mean, you're going off of looks, and listen, you are in another country for a reason. If you want a woman to swoon over you for your looks, then you should come back to America. But obviously that didn't really work for you, because I guess though you believe that your looks and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, will get you somewhere. But I mean, your results, your self-confessed results in Dallas, just like Skylar's results in Dallas, was not too good. And that's okay, because it's bad everywhere. So the thinking of that doesn't really work to your favor. Or look, dude, just go to a country where the women have a lot of money. Maybe China, I don't know. Go to a place like that, then you would have the advantage. But you went to a place where there's the opposite, where where the women have a lot of attractive men, but not a lot of money, and you offered them the same thing, and you're not offering them the opposite. You are anti-tricking, and I can't stand that, especially since you did the whole pay for play thing. But before, but you are anti-tricking, and it's, oh gosh, it amazes me, Austin. It amazes me that you can go to a, okay, fellas, ladies, whomever's listening. I want you to imagine this scenario, right? I want you to imagine this scenario. You are an artist, right? You are an artist. You are a starving artist. And then somebody walks up to you, right? A woman walks up to you and she says, I am a model and I want you to draw me. I want you to draw me in this bikini. And you like, okay, bet. I'm going to draw an accurate portrait of you in this bikini, and I'm going to add my own artistic flair to it, etc., etc., etc. Now you put your all into that, and then you say, okay, this is my masterpiece. Here you go. This is the only talent I have in the world that will end my life of poverty, and I'm going to give a piece of that to you. And she just says, thank you. Okay, bye. Walks away, use that painting in a way that makes her a lot of money. And you're still a starving artist. That is what you are doing to these chicks. That is what you are doing to these chicks. And that's what black men have a reputation of doing to these chicks. You're taking the one thing, you're taking a piece of the one thing that they have that they feel will get them out of their life of poverty. You're taking it for free or as little as possible. Particular case, you to just capitalize, hit the like button, to just capitalize off of the sense, the void that they feel afterwards. You make money off of the act. And you feel that this is something that you deserve because I don't know, you spend the gym time. I guess. Okay. All right. So let me go back to where I was.
Colombia, not so much Peru, but those countries I just named, I've hung out with white guys more than I have anywhere else in the world, and enough time for me to pick up on little things that I noticed were a little different whenever I'd hang around them. For example, I was in Paraguay. Paraguay is in Latin America. If you guys don't know, Google it. I was in Paraguay and I was hanging out with one of my white friends. We walk up to two chicks. I speak first. They're looking at him as I'm talking to them. They don't hear me talking. They hear me talking, but they're not acknowledging me talking. So imagine this camera is, I'm looking at you. You're the white guy, but there's a guy over here talking, and this guy is just looking because I'm speaking. Yeah. So they're looking at this guy while the guy, Austin, is over here talking. So I just was like, oh, well, maybe the first time that happened, I'm like, oh, maybe they just were both interested in him and not me. Maybe that's what it was. Then it happened again. Then it happened again. And I started to notice, holy shit. Whenever I hang out with the white guy, they cannot hear me talking to them. What the fuck? So that's fine. I just recognize it and I get the hell away from you. Not the white guy. I'm talking about the women, because I'm not here to try to convince you to think otherwise. But it's just something okay, let me jot that.
Maybe you should get the hell away from the white guy. If your intention is getting with women. I'm not saying, you have a grudge against the white guy or anything like that, but if you feel that the women would have paid attention to you when you're not with the white guy and that's your intention, then hey, just don't spend some time not hanging around with that dude. Apparently you have more success in doing that. It's an easy fix. I mean, is your looks going to be overshadowed with the potential that this guy will set them up for life? Abso-freaking-lutely. Average woman versus, an attractive woman, but you know that the average woman is going to treat you well for life. She's going to be faithful. She's never going to divorce. She's going to be an excellent mother to your kid. Like this. Who are you going to take at that point? For long term, if you are thinking long term, and obviously these girls are.
That in my notes because this is a social experiment as a 25 or a Black American man in his 20s. What is it like worldwide for him to be perceived around the world? And that was one thing I noticed in Latin America. When I got to Sao Paulo, Brazil, certain cities is not as bad as others. Certain cities is not as bad as others, but a lot of cities is bullshit. So whenever I got to Sao Paulo, Brazil, there were some white men and an Asian man I was hanging out with. We all go to a restaurant. Of course, Asians, generally speaking, the typical Asian you see has damn near white skin. They're not technically white. I don't call them yellow, but I guess some people would call them yellow. I don't say that. But we were all sitting.
There's a clear and distinct physical difference between an Asian man and a white man. And the women know it. I don't know where he was going with that. There is more that defines the phenotype of a race than their skin color. A Black albino is distinctively Black. It's a very weird thing to say.
Sitting at dinner. Let's just be specific about this. We were all sitting at dinner, right? And they walk up and they speak. They look at everybody with a smile. Oh, yeah, hell, welcome into the restaurant. Look at me with a straight face. I'm like, okay, I noticed that. Didn't think too much of it at first. Order with a smile, order with a smile. Look at the Black guy, straight face. Keep in mind, this is not even a white person doing this. This is a Black Brazilian doing this. See, there's certain shit you just can't deny, right? You can't deny everybody being looked at with a smile, and then when they look at me, the smile just magically stops. I guess when they go from this way to that way, their face muscles just got tired by the time they reach me. We're just gonna go with that bullshit. For some people that like to deny everything that exists, I'm not like a race victim either. I'm just here to tell you guys what to expect, and I'm not the first person to say that.
Okay. You are being a race victim. And because that is a very difficult situation to reproduce. It's a very unlikely situation to reproduce, and it's something that some people wouldn't even notice unless they were a race victim to begin with. Like they had that mentality, or they're in competition mode with their friends every time they go out. I mean, they would have to be like in that restaurant with the Black Brazilian waitress. Okay.
This stuff has been in history books about this type of stuff. We're not going to get that deep into it today, but if you guys know what I'm talking about. They take everybody's order. Everybody's drinks come out except for mine. So I'm just sitting back for 15 minutes waiting because I know I saw them write my drink down, because when she asked me with her straight face, she wrote the drink down, but then it didn't come out. But somehow everybody else's drink came out. But the guy that you did not have, that you drew a straight face for, it just correlates too well. That happens. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have your drink. I forgot. Bullshit. I saw you write it down. Okay. At least she made the drink strong, so I forgot about it. I forgot about it in a moment. Drink was too good. One thing I noticed, for example, let's say if you want to cold approach a woman in certain countries. I've been out with my white friends, and
Okay. He kind of ended that restaurant story, I wanted to see if he did what he should have did, and that was report to our supervisor. Report to our supervisor. I mean, or not even that. You could just, tell the supervisor, like, excuse me, in front of her, like, I'd like to get another waitress, please. I find this one to be rude and incompetent, and please get me one that's polite and competent. Or you could just cancel our order altogether and we go to another restaurant. See, money talks. That's what black men don't understand. Money talks because white and Asian men understands the true meaning behind it's better to give than to receive. See, a lot of black people think, and I thought this a long time ago, that that the statement is better to give than to receive was a statement of charity. It's something that you say to get someone to do something charitable. It is better to be the one that is giving charity than it is to be the one that's receiving charity. So let's stick with that analogy for a moment. Black people in our backwardsness feels that it's foolish to give and it's better to receive. That's why we have a high proportion of people on welfare. They think people who are givers are tricks, and people who are receivers are above tricks because they are the receivers. That's not really how power and things like that works. That's why money talks. If you are the giver, if you are the one who determines who I give to, then you are the one in power. It's same, and that's even true for tricks. And I'm talking about like the flat footest, the flat footest trick out there. Those guys. There was a HBO series called The Cat House, and you could call these guys tricks all you want to. They went into the room. This was a long time ago. They had this series. It was like a ranch, a I don't want to say bunny ranch. I don't know what they call those things, but it was in Nevada. And these guys, probably truck drivers or something, they walked into the room, and the women just came out and stood in front of them in their underwear, posing as he sat and determined who was worthy of his money. Telling me that's not power? This man has the ability to determine whose kids eat food or whose kids is going to eat meat this month. He has that ability to determine that. And you are standing there hoping to be worthy. And then he picks and he does his things, and the woman say he's a trick. It's like, well, you are a servant of his. You are temporarily in his employ. In most every other circumstance, the person that is giving the money is the one that you have to be nice to. That's why when you go to certain places, and these people come and they try to their beads, they try to sell you their t-shirts, they try to sell you their phone chargers, they try to sell you their refrigerator magnets or something. So what? You are less than. You are the consumer. The consumer is always right. That is why she sees that's why she treats them different. She looks at them as the consumer. She looks at you as someone who is trying to consume something that she has for free. The reason that she looks at them a certain way and she looks at you a certain way is because her lifetime of experience has taught her to see a pattern, and that pattern, she sees you as a beggar. I'm be honest with you. And black men, take note of this. And this is really only relative when you travel. This is only relative to non-black guys, but they see you as a beggar. And all of this player pimp Mac, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all that to them translates to beggar. You're asking for something for free that costs others money. You're asking for something of value for free that costs others money. You're asking for something for free that costs others money. That is what beggars do. And you're not this you aren't one of those beggars with the will work for food sign. Nope. Because you're not offering work. You're not offering anything, but you're just walking around like, but I'm handsome. Like you're the only handsome black beggar in Brazil. Uh, Jesus. That's how they look at you. That's how they look at many black men when others are around. The reason why they don't just look at all traveling black men like that is because every now and again, one of them buys them a stove. And she tells her friends, and her friends tell her friends, like, GameChanger brought me this stove, and I was able to cook hot food for my kids, for the duration, for the lifetime of the stove, and I greatly appreciate this stove. And every time her girlfriends come over and they see that she got a stove and the other chicks don't have a stove, they saying like, oh man, let me find a black American, break him off, and maybe I'll get something out of him at the end of the day. So all you do is that complain about that, you're welcome. And you're stupid. If you think that there's no ethnic reputation hit that you're going to take from going from place to place, trying to or successfully pumping and dumping, you are a damn fool. And this is the hit in ethnic reputation. And the cold part is that she know you ain't gonna do nothing. She know that you ain't gonna do nothing. That's why she's doing that. She's not even doing her job properly for you. She's being deliberately disrespectful, and she don't respect you because you are a beggar. Beggars don't demand to speak to somebody's supervisor. That's a privilege for a customer. If a person walks into a restaurant, says, "Do you have any scraps left over for me for free?" They can't complain about the service. That's how she looked at you, and that's how you acted when you did not report her ass, as you should have, and remind her that money talks and I got it and you don't. I make more in a day than you make in a month. So get my soda right, bitch. You had all the power in the world to remind her of that. You did. But you don't see money as power. Like, yeah, I like to speak to your supervisor. It's white boys that even go so far as to say, listen, if you don't fire this bitch right now, I'm buy this restaurant and fire you. And if you own this restaurant, I'll buy a restaurant just like this. I'll build a restaurant just like this right next door and sell the exact same stuff that you sell for a lower price until you are out of business. That's how. Ah. See, it's carrot and stick. But instead of for exercising, your carrot, you trying to use your stick. She knows that. She knows that you're not going to speak against her because you want her. You don't even want her box. You want her validation. She knows that she can make you feel sorry for yourself at any time. Because that's what you did instead of for saying, no, you're not doing your job. I don't need your validation. I need you to get my order right.
I've done it by myself. When I'm by myself, you get rejected sometimes, sometimes not. Normal stuff, just fine. When I'm with my white friends, I get rejected at a way higher rate, as if the wrong one out of the pair approached them, correct? You guys know if you approach somebody that, let's say they're walking very fast down the street, like, hey, I have a question for you. Hold on 1 second. Or, excuse me, I want to talk to you.
They have a greater probability of setting them up for life. In their mind, white dudes have a far greater probability of setting them up for life. Once again, a far greater probability of setting them up for life.
Or, excuse me, I don't, whatever you say to stop it, right? I can't even think because I don't even really like to stop people that's doing that. If I do it, it's just a get the hell out of my face, right? No patience. White guy does it, the subservient side comes out a bit. And this is whether if they're white, whether if they're
that's money talking,
an Afro Latino or straight out of the jungle. I don't give a damn which one of the three they are, or mestizo, whatever. But the level of patience is completely different for black men than it is white men. Now, what am I saying? This does not mean, because I know you idiots in the comments love to say this shit. This does not mean that you can't get women in Latin America. I would love for you guys to highlight where I said that. Not saying that. Because if I've been in Latin America since November and now it's July, if I would be here, what is that, 10 months? I wish I would stay on a continent 10 months where I couldn't get me a play from women. So that's not.
You did. It's called North America. It's called the United States. That's the place that you were at for getting play, or at least the play that you wanted.
What that means. It's just, what I'm saying is the more of the population is reserved for a certain group. That does not mean that there aren't women in that.
Okay. Though that statement is true, that's not what you're describing. Just because a woman is more interested in the next guy because of his ethnic reputation than she is in you because of your ethnic reputation, that doesn't mean that she's reserved for them. She don't walk around with a no colored sign on her pussy. Chances are that woman has kids and they the same damn thing as, they the same damn thing that she is. But the fact of the matter is that when you holler at her, you have a what in her mind, she's looking at it as, okay, this is a guy that is begging for sex. This other guy, he's might be begging for sex, but he might be offering the possibility of marriage, which in her mind, and rightly so, um, means that there is a possibility that she will be set for life.
Population that don't like you. Just don't expect them to like you as much. Just don't expect to be in first place. A lot of dudes are selling you guys a dream saying that we're loved everywhere. We're loved everywhere. Let me
Loved does not mean first place. Loved does not mean first place. Loved does not mean first place. So somebody could say, like, they girl loves them. Does it mean that she don't feel that Idris Elba is more attractive than you? Does it mean that she doesn't feel that Barack Obama is more charismatic than you are? Does it mean that, I don't know, she wish you had Michael B. Jordan's body? No. It means that she loves you.
tell you motherfuckers something. If Auston Holleman is not getting love, the majority of y'all aren't going to get love. And I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying in a specific scenario, if me they don't love you, I don't give a fuck how nice your fedora hat is. I don't give a damn how good your Spanish or your Portuguese is. It's just not going to always be in your favor.
Oh. And this is hold the L with me. Because I'm taking this L, you all must take this L with me. Hey, if I didn't do it, then you guys aren't going to do it either, because I'm better than you all. Because once again, this is a competition for me. You're playing games with something that these women are taking seriously.
So I wish dudes would quit selling unrealistic expectations that everything is just peaches and cream. There's a trade-off. Just like anything else in life, there's a trade-off, right? You go to Africa, from what I've seen, the odds were usually in my favor, but then you got a lot of poverty and scams, and there's stuff that comes with trying to date in Africa. You come to Latin America, probably not as much poverty, but then you got this shit. You got motherfuckers that don't even want to even try to consider just because of race. And for me to talk about this much, I can't be making it up. You can be in denial. If you're paying for sex, just don't even skip this video, because this doesn't even apply to you. Now, recently.
So you're not paying for sex, as you claim over and over again, while confessing to paying for sex, but that's a whole different story. Maybe the women are more interested in the guys because they believe that he's paying for sex and they know that you're not.
Here in Manaus, right? Me and my two white friends and I, let me speak proper English, my two white friends and I, two men, we all went to the beach. There was a private beach that I was invited to, correct? And there was only two girls coming. So my friend Casey says, hey, Auston, y'all are going to need to pick whichever one. So whenever they arrive, we all introduced ourselves. I could already tell right off the bat she wasn't feeling me, right? Because the way how it felt very friendly. Like it wasn't very interesting. It was very friendly. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm mistaken. I'll try again later. So we end up sitting next to each other on the boat. So I started a little small talk, like, hey, what's your name? She told me her name. Didn't ask what my name was. Usually I would just stop right there. But I'm like, okay, I'm doing research. Let me get some more research to tell my audience what would happen. This is also a chick with black features. I'm not saying she was black, but she, right? And I already told you guys about that. So are you from Manaus? Yes. Doesn't sound interesting. So I said, so how old are you? She told me her age. Okay, so I stopped her. I know where you're from. I know what your name is. I know your age. You don't know anything about me. Clearly, you're not interested in talking. Now, I know some of you motherfuckers in the comments are going to try to say, well, Austin, you should have asked her what her birth certificate number was. You ain't got no game. Yeah, you can waste your time. The way how I look at life is I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow, so I don't waste time with people that don't want to spend time with me. That fucking simple. So anyway, we get to the beach and she kept it short with me, but whenever we got to our table, the white guy was there, my friend, and she says, so is this your first time now? So I'm like, oh.
He's upset that women who are likely gold diggers aren't interested in a guy that's not offering any gold. I mean, yeah, she knows that you are a gold mine. She knows that you have it, but she also knows, and this is because she has, stereotyped you or, recognized a certain pattern with guys like you and myself, that you are far less likely to part with any of it than these guys. So, of course, she's going to do that. Listen, if you're a guy and you know that one ethnicity of women, okay, say you're in college, right? And there's a sorority, let's just, I don't know, call them anything. Call them any sequence of Greek letters that you can think of. You know, call them row, 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 like ho, ho, ho. Call them that, right? And you know that these girls get down. They love to, they are the sluts of the Greek world. And then you have another sorority who, isn't about that life. They're about piety. They're about, marriage. They're about the Lord. Let's say that. The treatment is the same thing. Like the way you would treat them is the same way you would treat, the other one, the pious sorority. You'll just be like, oh yes, my name's GameChanger. Like, oh really? How old are you? I'm college age. And then it's like, so, tell me a little bit about yourself. A sorority girl, tell me a little bit about yourself. You looking nice about them lips, what they do. Like, of course, you're going to be more interested in the group whose reputation can benefit you the most. These girls go to private beach, events. But tricking is bad. But look at what not tricking is getting you. Bitching and complaining.
That's what a chick sounds like when she's interested. Okay, so she must be interested in him. Okay, so I was like, okay, not gonna cock block. Let me move away, smoke my cigar. Shit happens, right? And I've got guys. I've been all around. I've dated women all around the world. I'm not gonna go to sleep thinking about it. But I put up a tweet, and this is just a story I want to bring in there. So I talked to Casey. We were just talking about something else, and he was like, "Yeah." So you remember the girl that was on the boat? I asked her friend, because Casey was dating her friend. He said he asked her friend, does your friend like black guys? And she said instantly, she's not going to talk to your friend. She hadn't seen what I look like or nothing. So there was nothing from the jump. I was fucked from the jump just based off of race. She didn't need to see what I looked like. And this is a chick with black features. If you took her to the United States, they would say she was a mulatto. She clearly has black features. Now, I know for some reason a lot of my audience think if she doesn't have nappy hair and skin as dark as a fucking asteroid, she's not black.
I assume that like asteroids were brown, like a kind of like a dirt color, not unless it's an asteroid made out of tar or some stuff like that. But anyway, I am going to stop right here. There's going to be a part 3. The part 3 will cover the remainder of this video. We have like about 3 minutes left, and then a little bit more. Hopefully I'll be able to wrap it up in part 3. This is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace. Hit the like button. Peace.